reminding you this Ides of March that he's your vehicle, baby. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice but get on. Mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing. Just saw the ratings went up, so thank you very much for that. Excited to talk to Frank Grillo. Always good dude. Meet his son, Remy, coming up. Jillian Michaels. Always good to speak to her as well. Lots to get into. Chris Max Pata's over there.
Hey, Adam.
Jillian's going to join us shortly. We got all that coming. So first, world's longest day. That'll lead me into some stories. I did Byron Allen's show. Funny you should ask. That was, you do 6 episodes in a day. That's about as much as you're going to do in a day. Call it gang taping, but don't say it fast. So we would get in there about, my call time was about 9:30, and I was going to get out of there about 7:15. It's like deep Culver City, which is just about as far away as you can get from where I am. And that was a long enough day. Rain, traffic, hour, 15-minute commute in, maybe an hour home. Door to door, probably would have been about 11 and a half hour day. But then shortly before I went to bed, my daughter said, can you give me a ride to my friend's house in the morning before blah, blah, blah. That meant get up half hour early, drive her somewhere at 8:10 in the morning. And then I remembered we're doing Adam Carolla and Friends stand-up show that night at the Improv. So now meant get up at 7:30 and drive my daughter to her friends, who then gets driven to school from her friends. Still haven't really worked out the part where a friend can't just pick her up at my house, but that evidently would add 4 minutes to the affair. So better for me to get up early, drive that, come home.
So this is something you've accepted now? You no longer are going to fight having Natalia's friend come over and pick her up? You're defeated.
I think you learn something with women that you don't. No one ever said pick your battles with men. You only pick your battles with women. And women, you should think long and hard about that statement. Because if that is any dude, like if that's my son, we're going to throw down in the hallway. And if that's Dr. Drew or any dude I know, I'm fucking standing firm. If it's any woman I know, it's just, oh, fuck it. Just take it in the ass. Just fucking do it.
Not a hill you want to die on.
Yeah, like every dude I know says that their wife, their girlfriend, their daughter, whatever, is asking for something that's sort of mathematically unreasonable. And then you say, well, why don't you push back? And they go, I don't even want to.
It's not worth it.
It's just not worth it. It's not worth it, which is a subtle, weird kind of a blackmail that takes place. Like, I could remember every office has the lazy guy who does nothing but complain if he has to do any kind of work on the weekends or overtime. There's the lazy guy, and then there's the bad back guy, And at some point when you're the boss, you will say, you'll call the non-lazy guy in your office and you'll go, Rick, can you go out and shoot at the farmer's market with Uncle Frank this weekend? And then Rick will go, I was going to go miniature golfing this weekend and I went out last weekend. And then you go, and then Rick goes, why don't you get Jake to do it? Jake and then as the boss, if Jake's the lazy one who complains a lot, you'll go, I don't want to fucking deal with Jake. I just don't want to deal with it. So you then do it twice.
Yeah, there's certain people who you have to now work around in your life.
Yes. And I don't know if they know what they're doing, but it's diabolical. It is the roommate who doesn't do the dishes, and then somebody goes, what's with all the dishes? And then you go, I'm just going to do them. And they go, why are you doing his dishes? Like, I just don't want to get in.
Right.
It's too much. I don't want to get into it.
So you don't want to be this guy, but at the same time, I kind of want to be this guy.
I kind of want to be this guy, too, because my family, my mom and my dad, loosely base their life around this guy. You think I would ask them for a ride from the airport? You know, can you pick me up at LAX Sunday morning or whatever? Can I borrow some money? Do you think you could help me move? Like, you get off of every single list, off of every list of potential candidates for airport rides, money loans, helping move, whatever the shit of life is that you don't want to do, you're right off that list.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. I mean, when me and Jimmy and Kevin and Bean and Frank Murphy, the producer, used to go to breakfast, Frank Murphy just established himself as the guy who was super cheap and didn't pay for breakfast. So, you know, it'd go me, Frank, Jimmy, Kevin, and Bean. And in terms of who picked up the bill, it would just circulate between me and Kevin and Bean and Jimmy. But Frank was off the list because he didn't do that.
Wow.
But he would go eat. I'm going to talk to my kids about it. I think my daughter's already has like a black belt in it, but I'm going to have to tell my son, you're going to get your ass kicked by people who are wired this way. So I'm staring down the barrel of driving in a rainstorm from La Cañada to Culver City at 8:45 in the morning, then wrapping up at 7:15, 7:20 in Culver City, and then driving to the Hollywood Improv and doing a show that night. I'm staring down that barrel at about 9:45 in the evening the night before. When my daughter is telling me I need a ride in the morning, it's all kind of flashing through my head, but I'm like, I just don't want to battle. I'll just get up earlier, do that. So it's a long day, and then it's punctuated by, let's see, Adam Ray was there.
You put the picture.
Brendan Schaub was there.
Caroline Ray.
Caroline Ray was great. She was great. Brad was great. They're all
Adam Ray, both Rays.
Yeah, that's right. They were all there. And Brad Williams, everyone was funny.
And you headline this, right? Or do you go up at the end, or you stay till the end? I know that. I've seen you.
Well, I got there because I just left Byron Allen's show at like 7:20. It took me 20 minutes to get there, so now I'm just there 20 minutes early.
Oh, good.
But Brad Williams, thank God, was there eating. So I just showed up and sat in the green room, talked a little, showed me his new house. Then I think I went on second to last or something like that. And then I just got out of there at 9:30 or whatever, got home at like 10:10, walked in the door, big note from Olga, Phil's been throwing up.
Oh, good.
Phil's been throwing up. He's outdoors. He's outside, but it's a rainstorm.
But that doesn't bother him, does it?
It doesn't the water doesn't bother him. Not being inside with people bothers him, you know. So then it's pouring rain. Before I leave at 8:45 that morning, tell Sonny, you got to put Phil outside before you leave at 9 o'clock. Now, I'm gone all day picturing Phil just out in a rainstorm, like the whole day from like 9 a.m. Now it's like 2:30, and I'm like, ugh, he's just been sitting out in the rain. So then when I come home at 10:15, he's still outside, and then Olga's like, don't let him in. He's throwing up, and he's just sitting there all wet, just looking at me, hitting the...
Oh, he's throwing up because of sadness.
Hitting the door with his big paw, and then doing the thing that'll break your heart, because Phil does not bark. Phil never barks, but he does the bark. He does a woo. Oh. Like, I want to, please, Papa.
That's a last resort.
Let me in.
Phil.
So
yeah.
Now I'm going, Olga, we got to let him in. No, he's a dog. He's a dog. She keeps yelling because she's from Guatemala.
She's a hard ass.
Dogs are dogs in Guatemala. They're not friends. They're not family members. They're almost rodentia. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, we'll leave him outside. And I'm like, when are you going to leave, Olga? She's like, I'm soon. And I'm like, all right, well, get going because I just want her to leave so I can let Phil in. And so it was the end. It was a very long day, but it was punctuated by this. I go park. I get to the Improv. It's pouring rain. Sold out show. God bless everyone.
Nice,
In the pouring rain in L.A. Sold it out. Everyone showed up. I find a sweet parking spot right all the way to one side of the parking lot that's across the street from the Improv.
Yes, things are finally coming up Carolla.
This is an open spot here. This is going to be awesome. Pull up into it. It's the kind of spot that's at the end. It's against the fence. You can't get the car next to you or anything.
Beautiful.
Pull up, open the door, put my foot out. It's 6 inches of water. It goes all the way up past my sock. There was it was the parking lot slope that way. It was all the way at the end, and there was a lake, but it was black, and it was at night, and I just stepped with my leather shoes on from doing Byron Allen, just stepped right in it, foot completely engulfed, and it got worse.
It's a joke.
And it got worse, and I was like, oh, shit. Pull my foot back in. Now I got to do the show with the completely soaked leather boot. Sorry, I got fighting a cold. I looked to my left in the very corner of the parking lot where the lake is, 3 feet from me, porta-potty, ground level porta-potty. And the water is above the bottom of the porta-potty. How much commingling
there's
is going on
for sure.
with this foot now that's completely soaked. My sock, I got one completely soaked, leather. It's not a boot, it's like a dress shoe, high top, but it's all completely soaked. So I'm getting the umbrella out. I'm trying to get my papers together, and I just limp into the Improv. But the comedians were great. It's a good night and all that. But
good.
Yeah, that was
Jeez.
That was a good 14-hour day of comedy.
Yeah, some of it happening to you.
Some of it to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did Brad Williams tell you he saw the Cocaine Bear? He went?
Yes. We had an extensive talk about him going to the Cocaine Bear in Lexington, Kentucky. I think so. All right. So there was that. Also, speaking of tragedy on the road, I know Dawson got into an accident yesterday, right, Dawson?
Yeah, I was just had to run out to the store really quick, and I'm driving home. I'm less than a mile from my house, traveling north on Whitsett Avenue. In the number 1 lane from the left, there's 2 lanes going north. I'm in the first lane on the left. And there's a car parked by the sidewalk. And just as I approach that car, she guns it and turns left, crosses over 1 full lane, and smashes right into the side of my truck, right before the rear axle. Catches the rear, so now my rear axle is bent and off kilter, and my car comes to a stop. I get out. I ask if she's okay. Her car's totaled. Next thing I know, I'm being screamed at by a whole family. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Really?
Yeah. And a lady says, you didn't see me? You hit me. You hit me. I'm like, lady, I didn't hit you.
Right.
And so,
how could you hit her with your rear axle?
How could I hit her but the middle of my truck?
Right.
When the front of her, it's like, it's obvious.
Yeah, I've seen the picture.
Is the truck totaled?
I don't know, but there's a picture of it right there.
Wow, yeah.
You can see where it's hit. You can see that that rear wheel doesn't look so great.
No, that whole axle is pushed back.
No more Tokyo drifting for you.
I don't know if those trucks, what is that, a Tundra?
That's a Tundra, 5.7 liter, 8-foot bed.
Wow.
It's huge.
Biggest Japanese vehicle, including military vehicle. And the entire Japanese army, including the Navy,
How did you find
doesn't
this?
have vessels that big. Yeah. Well, now we'll see if it's an independent rear or live axle, straight axle.
Okay,
I'm kind of curious.
The difference would be fixable or unfixable?
I don't know which one is more fixable. If it's independent, then the damage is going to stop at the differential.
Okay.
Because it's independent. if it's a solid axle going all the way across,
I think it's
your
a solid
other
axle going.
tire
The
should
other
be-
tire is also bent.
should be pushed in.
The other tire,
Yes.
they're both kind of wonky.
Right. All right.
That's a move too. That I've gotten in accidents myself where they get out of the car, it's clearly their fault, and they'll come up to me and go, "What were you thinking?
Yes.
Right.
What are you doing? This is your fault, right? You know that.
Right.
You'll admit this, right?"
That's a character issue right there.
Absolutely. And the only thing I had asked was, "Are you okay?"
Right.
And then the next thing I know is some guy who had nothing to do with the accident, and he's got a wonky eye. He comes up to me and says, "This is my friend's mother. You better be nice." And I'm like, "Look, buddy, don't talk to me. Get away from me."
The fuck is going on with our society?
I don't know. I don't know. And then some other dude comes out and just starts screaming, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." And
going on?
I call the cops. Cops won't show up.
Oh, no.
They won't show up unless there's, injury or ambulance or
You need at
anything
least
like
two
that.
dead bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then I call my insurance company immediately. And by the way, I had left my reading glasses at home. So I'm trying to go through my phone and find all this information.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Right.
I get on the phone with the insurance, file the claim. Finally, this lady seems to have calmed down. We exchanged information. Thankfully, she's insured, and the ball is rolling. But the thing is, as you can see from that truck, that's one of a kind. That truck is not on the road or findable or really replaceable with the amount of money that insurance is going to give me. So either way, I'm screwed.
I'm sure
I
you
don't
can find
know.
a few from space, Doss. This is a really big truck.
Everybody I know who ended up getting their car totaled out ended up being happy about it at the end in terms of the insurance. It may go the trajectory of your kitchen. This could be the year of Dawson
remodel.
in
It could
insurance. You end up with a better kitchen. You end up with a better rig.
I do got a horseshoe up my ass, so we'll see.
Yes.
I had a weird thing. I also got into an accident a couple weeks ago, and the guy. So we pull over to the side. He gets out of his car, and it's me and Jen. It's Jen's car. There's definitely a lot of damage. Everyone's okay, but he comes up and he just goes, "Is there any way we could do this without insurance?" He's like a 25-year-old guy begging us, like, "My life will be ruined if we go through insurance. Can we please not? I promise I'm good for it." And I'm just looking at him like, I don't think you're good for it, man. You're like really, like your car's not great. You smell like weed, and now I have to just go off your word here. And I felt terrible. Like he was really rubbing in the guilt.
I had a guy total my car years ago when it was parked, the old air conditioning story and the bad karma and everything. And that dude was like, "Hey man, I don't want to get the courts involved. I don't want this and that." I'm like, "Fine, just pay me medium blue book for the car and we'll go our separate ways." 6 months later, we're just sitting in the court, and he's explaining that my car was a pile of crap and I had 4 bald tires on it. It's like everyone is just such a piece of shit.
Yes.
Just a piece of shit.
Yes.
My car is parked in front of my apartment, just on the street. This guy, probably drunk, just hits it so hard with his Ford F-150 that he doesn't hit it and careen back into the street. He hits it and goes over the sidewalk and is facing my apartment while I'm standing on the deck looking at him. Like he was so far to the right that he didn't skim it or graze it. He actually went the other direction. My car then slid out into the middle of the street. He hit it so hard.
Playing shuffleboard.
Oh my God. And all he wanted to do was make it right. And then next thing you know, we're in court. And I just said, look, low blue book is $3,000 and high blue book is $6,000. Just give me $4,500. We'll meet in the middle and we'll go home, And he's literally talking to the judge. And he's like, "Your Honor, I inspected the car. The car had 4 bald tires on it, had a lot of miles on it. This is not a mid Kelly. I said, just go mid Kelly blue book. He's like, "No. It's a piece of shit."
Yeah, you were being reasonable.
The car that I totaled was a piece of shit. I'm going to go low Kelly blue book. And I remember as clear as day, I had a big fat fucking manila envelope full of like receipts and shit. And he's like, "There's 4, the guy's name is Kenny. So Kenny was like, "There's 4, the tires were all bald." I said, Kenny, you see this manila envelope? There's a whole bunch of documentation in here. Lots of it for tune-ups and transmission rebuilds and lots of money that was put in my car. One of the receipts is for 4 new tires about 3 weeks ago. Now, we can walk it into the judge's chambers and settle it. I will produce this receipt for 4 new tires, and this is going to be super humiliating for you, or you can go blue book, mid blue book right now, and we just get the fuck out of here.
You should have upped it to mid-high blue book at that point.
And he did fine, let the baby have his bottle. You know what? I'll be the bigger man today. Like, you destroyed my property and you fled. He destroyed it, pulled his car into reverse with 2 popped front tires and sparks coming out, took off another 6 blocks into the night, parked the car, and took off on foot. And he just got issues with me.
Yeah.
He's got issues.
You know what I think?
What the you know what I said? I said, listen, I said, if this guy were Japanese, he would have killed himself. I mean it. The culture would have said,
honor.
you must, his parents would have said, you have to kill yourself. After this exchange, his parents would have come to him, his family would have turned around and said, here's a sword.
Yeah.
Fall on it.
I don't know.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Hey, good for Kenny. Good for Kenny.
The fuck is wrong with people? It's insane. My dream reality TV shows, I find these guys' parents and I just go, what the fuck? What did you produce? This is your son. You understand the beats of this? He drives, probably intoxicated. He destroys a stranger's property. Then he attempts to flee. Then he says he wants to make it right. Then he shows up and argues to try to lowball.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm expecting the worst out of this.
Oh, my God. It is so fucking sad what happened to humanity. On a very different but sort of funny note, I'm sitting there doing Byron Allen's show yesterday. I got John Lovitz 2 seats over to my right, Vivica A. Fox in the middle, and then me at the end. And it's like during a commercial timeout or something. And John Lovitz looks at Vivica A. Fox and he goes, who, by the way, is like, she's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
She's, I don't know, 53 or something. She's not young, and that'll lead in the story. So she goes, so Lovitz looks at her and goes, Vivica A. Fox. That's a name. And I was like, oh, yeah, Vivica, a fox, a fox. I said, yeah, that's funny. And John was kind of happy with himself that he'd come up with that one. And I think Vivica liked it as well. And then I said, yeah, that's the good side of a name. Like that's positive. Vivica A. Fox. I said, you know who's getting screwed? F. Murray Abraham. And then from White Lotus and whatever, Amadeus or whatever. How many movies has F. Murray Abraham done? Because Vivica A. Fox has done like literally 180 movies.
It's her name in a description.
We did a trivia thing with the show or whatever. She's done like 167 movies.
Damn.
F. Murray Abraham, who's going the opposite direction in the name department. F. Murray Abraham's, he had to have done 150 movies. But of course, Lovitz starts laughing because he's seen it happen in real time. I just produced a fucked up version of the name. And of course, Vivica A. Fox is like, who's F. Murray Abraham? And I'm like,
you don't even have to know.
well, no. First off, streak alive for chicks never getting my jokes. Like it's still intact. But she's been working in this town for 30 years. And F. Murray Abraham, who's done 130 movies, has been working in this town for 45 years. They must have crossed. How? He got nominated for, I think, Amadeus. I'm trying to think. He's all over. He's in White Lotus. You got to know. Why don't, this is like, the fridge in the 1985 Bears not knowing that Mike Ditka played professional football. You know what I mean?
Remember we had that caller who was obsessed with raccoons and someone asked, oh, do you like Rocky Raccoon? Mm-hmm. She's like, what's that?
Yeah, the Beatles song.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it was nominated for Amadeus. Has Vivica A. Fox ever worked with F. Murray Abraham. We can try to figure that one out. But
there's at least
they've
one
both
degree of
been in this
separation.
town working for over 30 years. They've both done well over 100 movies. They must have done something somehow
Let me see.
together. Doesn't mean they worked or were on set that day. But what do we guess? What would we guess? Would we guess that F. Murray Abraham and Vivica A. Fox did something? Is there a way to figure it out?
I have an answer. I believe I have an answer. So there's this website called the Oracle of Bacon.
Oh,
it's all
Kevin Bacon,
Yeah, the
right.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So the F. Murray Abraham and Vivica A. Fox are 2 degrees separated. So yeah, they haven't worked together.
Wow.
Yeah. F. Murray Abraham was in Last Action Hero with Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was in The Hardcore with Vivica A. Fox.
So F. Murray wasn't in Soul Plane?
Maybe an uncredited cameo.
All right. Well, we get to move on. Jillian Michaels, one of my favorites, is going to join us. We'll talk motivation, exercise, and everything else with her right after this. Blinds galore. Spring is around the corner. It's time to start spring cleaning. What's the plan? Rake the leaves, change the sheets. Why don't you make an actual difference with new window treatments from Blinds Galore? BlindsGalore.com. Make your home look new again with custom blinds, shades, and shutters or drapery. These guys are great. It's 100% custom made window treatments built to your exact measurements. And you don't have to leave the house. You can do it all right from your home. Do it all online. Family-owned company, been doing business for 25 years. I have them in my home. I have traditional blinds. I have the electronic ones as well. Whether you need more privacy, you want to sleep in, you want to cool down, keeps it cool during the summer. Summer's coming. Or just fix up a room. Nothing better than Blinds Galore. They have everything you're looking for. Right, Dawson?
BlindsGalore.com makes it easy to get the custom blinds and shades you've always wanted in your home. Go check out BlindsGalore.com today and order up to 15 free samples to get started and let them know that Adam sent you. That's BlindsGalore.com. In celebration of Jim Carolla's upcoming 92nd birthday, here's a list of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Number 33. Ridden a mountain bike. Just one of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Well, Jillian Michaels has joined us, The Biggest Loser, maybe one of the places you know her from, also author of 8 New York Times best-selling books. She has a fitness app. She's a personal trainer. She's a fitness expert. And the app is called the Fitness App. It's available on Apple, Google, app stores as well. Get into that in a second. Good to see you, Jillian.
To see you.
So, first off, all this obesity, all this childhood obesity, and all this talk from like government officials going, oh, it's a genetic thing and it can't really be cured with diet and exercise. And then you hear Leslie Stahl like interviewing this woman going, but diet and exercise, right? Well, slow your roll, Leslie. Maybe not. I don't think so. What the fuck is going on?
May I please? Thank you. Follow the money, Adam.
Yes.
So let's look at this, right? For the first time in history, we've added, quote, anti-obesity drugs to the protocol for treating obesity.
Yes, and surgeries.
And surgeries. And not only for adults, but also for children starting at the age of 12. Now, here's what I love so much about this. So this woman, her name is Fatima Cody, came on 60 Minutes and other shows and made the statement that even certain individuals, even when participating in the optimal diet, exercise, stress management, and good sleep practices, will still get no results. There is zero data to suggest that is true. Absolutely zero. And in fact, if we are going to claim it's genetics, if we look, let's say, prior to 1950, the rate of obesity in America was under 5%. Then in the 50s, it was 10%. So unless we've had a quantum leap in genetics, more bullshit. And strangely, how oddly coincidental, we've also seen an overwhelming rise in how many calories people are consuming and the fact that our lifestyles have become more sedentary. So there's a positive correlation between those statistics and the dramatic rise in obesity over the last 70 years. So now you ask the question, why? Because these drugs and surgeries make money. But even more importantly, and let me just say one more thing to prove that this is bullshit and that you need to follow the money, when we look at something like Ozempic, which is the brand name for semaglutide, and there's also Wegovy, which is the exact same drug. Active component is semaglutide, but that one is FDA approved as an anti-obesity drug, whereas Ozempic has just been approved for type 2 diabetes. And in fact, Wegovy is a slightly higher dose. So we're treating obesity with a slightly higher dose than we are treating type 2 diabetes. The mechanism by which this drug facilitates weight loss is twofold. Number one, it slows digestion, delaying gastric emptying. What does this mean? You feel fuller for longer. What happens? You eat less. Number two, it's a strong appetite suppressant. So it regulates the appetite centers in the brain to make you eat less. Overall answer, you eat less. So total bullshit, because I just thought that diets don't work. What does it make you do?
Makes you eat
Eat less. So
Oh my God.
it's about money. That's what it's all about.
All right. I'm a little bit of a broken record with this.
Okay.
But listen to me, everyone. First off, whatever's going on with the government, the messaging, or Big Pharma and the messaging, or the head of the FDA or the head of the CDC or whatever, fuck it all. I swear to God, they've been wrong about everything, the fucking food pyramid, everything. So look, you have every answer and every solution to every problem. And you will know the answer to every problem. It's very simple on any subject. It's like homelessness. Gavin Newsom, the real face of homelessness is a mother of three who has a full-time job, but she's getting minimum wage. All right, so you want the answer to everything. Do you know a human being who sleeps on the street because their hourly wage is not high enough, or because they got laid off at the factory? Or are they all drug addicts? If the answer is everybody you know, or everyone you've heard of, or some guy you went to high school with is a drug addict, and that's why he's on the street, then that's everyone. You have the answer. Is COVID dangerous to young boys? Does anyone know a 15-year-old who was claimed by COVID? If the answer is no, then you have all the answers. If diet and exercise and optimal sleep and stress management doesn't affect it, do you know any fat person who has optimal diet and exercise? Do you know anyone who was fat and then dropped 40 pounds after explaining to you they stopped drinking soda and started walking more, or whatever the fuck it is? Stop going to drive-thru at Jack. Then you know everything. You are now an expert, and you know much more than the talking head that's coming from the fucking government that's peddling bullshit. It could be COVID. It could be homelessness. It could be obesity. You figure out whatever the subject du jour is. You know more through your own experiences than they do, or perhaps they know it and they're lying.
I believe that there's an agenda, an obvious agenda. And when we look at why we're giving this message, right, it's like, oh, no. You are just a victim. You're powerless to take control of your health. So take this drug. Like, come on, man. Come on.
There's another kind of insidious side effect that nobody factors in. So there's a lot of kind of downstream issues from behaviors. And so you go, well, shut the schools down and mask up the kids. And you go, all right, what's wrong with that? Play it safe, And it's like, well, then they get behind. Then the young kids don't do the facial recognition stuff. There's many then they put on weight and they get depressed and the suicidality and everything under the sun. So it's not just do this. No, do this, and then that happens downstream. And I want to say this about your diet and exercise. I have done my own study.
Okay.
I have.
How'd that turn out?
It always turns out
I like
Great.
it. Thank you. Can we publish this in a journal?
And I don't know if you guys have
not
done this
enough for a
study,
book.
but I've known a few people in my life who are literally unable to get fat. They just eat whatever they want.
Yes.
There's a few of those.
That's absolutely
I've known
true.
a few of those. I've known a few of them that are so blessed, you would initially think, that even without a diet, any kind of consistent diet, just to sort of eat whatever they want, whenever they want, and without really consistently working out, look better than 96% of the people at the pool.
They do
in their
exist.
bathing suit.
My ex was one,
They
and my
exist.
son is one. It's very annoying.
They're out there. I went to high school between my friend Ray and Chris. I was bookend between those two. They were both that dude. It sucked.
Bastards.
I was actually lifting weights and working out, and I had someone come up to me once with me and my buddy Chris, or like 17, and she's like, "Chris, you've been working out." And he's like, I don't work out. And I go, "I've been working out." And she's like, "Yeah, right.
Sure.
Chris, you've been working out." He literally wasn't working out. That's just who he was.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been there. I've done that. I'll tell you what I've learned.
Lay it on me.
These people are super fucking lazy. They never learned
Yeah.
the discipline. Now, discipline, people go, well, learning a second language or learning to play the oboe. That's no. The diet is every single day working out. Every
lifestyle.
single day gravity discipline. It forces you to have dominion over yourself, to discipline yourself, and to do this every single day. Removing that from the equation for people makes them much less disciplined in many other facets of life. And so in a weird way, you would kind of wish for your kid that they had that they weren't blessed, because then they would have to have that, I got to get up, I got to work out, I got to watch what I eat. I want the donut for breakfast. I can't have the donut. I'm going to have a poached egg. Like, those people then, when they're done with the diet and exercise, go out and get everything done.
Yeah, it translates.
It
to other
translates because it's a
aspects.
base point of discipline. Thoughts?
Okay. While I agree to a certain extent, there are all those people that are not genetic anomalies and are still overweight.
Yes.
So behind true obesity, not dad bod, right? Like, you got a sedentary job, you got 2 kids, life got away from you, you're totally overwhelmed, food became comfort, the drive-through was easy, everything was cost effective, that was shit for you. That's, that person has a rock bottom moment when they get to 40 or their late 30s, they have a midlife crisis, and hopefully we turn it around with some simple lifestyle changes. A truly obese person is utilizing food as a much deeper coping mechanism or a defense strategy. Just like the individual that may drink too much, that smokes, that dates the guy that's just not that into you over and over and over again. When we engage in these self-destructive behaviors, it is not because we are weak, lazy, or stupid. It's because that behavior provides us with something so significant and so profound, whether they realize it or not, and usually they don't. It feels almost impossible to give it up.
Yeah, my feeling is
You're going to shit all over that.
no. I don't want to
lay it on me.
Here's my feeling, and this will pertain to every subject. There's a small percentage of people that are just obese, and it's really difficult, and even with diet and exercise, it's really hard. And then there's a handful of my buddies from high school that are just fucking look good in their board shorts no matter what they do. Let's throw those out. Those are the fringes. Those are the outliers. There's a couple percentage here and a couple percentage there. They're both at the extremes. The middle is all affected. The vast middle is all affected by diet and exercise. So
100%.
Since everyone listening statistically is going to be in the middle between those two groups, it's the same with the homelessness. Yeah, you can find one person who's out of a job, who's down on their luck, who got divorced or something, but the middle are psychotic junkies. And that's what we need to focus on. And yes, one kid with pre-existing conditions was claimed by COVID at age 14 out of New Jersey. Fine, it exists, but everyone else is in the fucking middle, and you can't do policy based on the fringes, and that'll fuck a society up.
I don't even think they're doing policy based on the fringes. I think they're doing policy out of greed, personally, and corruption. But yeah, I digress. For your people in the middle, you got to make them want it. It's got to be a labor of love. There's got to be some perspective, because the truth of the matter is it is work and it is sacrifice, as you've just stated. And life can feel pretty damn punishing these days. I can't even, the news is like crazy as shit's on the news. We're on the brink of World War III. The Pentagon says the alien mothership could be in the solar system. GPT-4 is going to take over and humanity is going to be destitute. Like it's nuts. So people feel, I think, overwhelmed constantly and punished constantly by everyday life. When eating better and working out feels like more punishment, it's going to be the last thing they want to do. So finding some perspective and making that purpose-filled will allow it to become passion-based. And it's like, well, you know what? I think I'll go to the gym after work and do 30 minutes because, you know, I want my dick to work better. Honestly, erectile dysfunction is just one of the comorbidities that go along with obesity. I used to use that on my male contestants. It worked great. I was like, for every 30 pounds you lose, you gain an inch, buddy. And they would run like a motherfucker after that. Like, I don't care what it is. My point is, give it some perspective and make it relate to a reward at the end of the day you really give a crap about, and it helps.
Yeah, well, speaking of childhood obesity, so I mean, look, well, first off, I think you both are right when you say it's greed and it's the fringes, it's the outliers.
Yeah.
It's the greedy people using the people
Yes, it
and the
is.
outliers.
That's
to make their
exactly
point,
it.
right?
Allowing
So-
the tail to wag the dog.
So
yeah.
now,
It's basically BLM. It's every big movement.
Right.
It's just grifter fringe, using large groups, making them feel other, and then cashing in.
Right.
For a few
Cashing in
people,
on their
for a few
victimhood,
people.
100%. Yes.
Now, so speaking of childhood obesity, I know your daughter's now entering her teens, and I read an article that says that you're starting to have conversations with her about food. It's just what are you saying to her, and how are you saying it? Because I mean, it seems like these days, if you talk about food with kids in a certain way, it's you're fat shaming, or you should.
Yeah.
So
She's a bit of a different situation because she's going to be the one on the fringe. She's adopted, has a lot of early childhood trauma. And I don't, I'm not going to expose her whole story. She can choose to share it if or when she's older. But food is absolutely, wow. When I tell you there is an emotional drive to eat, I mean, she is that girl. And I have tried for years to come at it from God laughs if there is one, because it's like, okay, Jillian, here you go, right in your backyard, and I can't fix it. I can't help. And I've just turned around and said, all right, you know what? This kid's gonna do what she's gonna do. She's turning 13. She's 5'7".
Wow.
You know what I mean? She's gonna do what she's gonna do. I've tried to give her all the information I can give her. I've tried to educate her. I've tried to support her. And ultimately, she's going to have some sort of rock bottom moment where the pain of giving up the food and what it provides her is less than the pain of doing what she's doing. But because she has excellent genetics.
Have a weight issue, or is she just not eating in a healthy way?
She's not eating in a healthy way. And we went to the doctor. I mean, the child is one of those, like, she's 99% West African, built like a brick shithouse. But she will go to school and buy Doritos from the vending machine, soda from the vending machine. And at first it's like, well, don't send her to school with money. It doesn't matter. She'll get it from her friends. She comes home with the shit in the bag, and I'm like, how?
Listen,
How?
I don't want to seem like Big Brother here, but like in California, they're trying to pass a law that if you're born after 2007, you could never buy cigarettes. When you're 45, you couldn't buy cigarettes. They got a lot of rules, a lot of nanny state rules. Then they drop all the kids off, and they got vending machines filled with fucking Doritos
I can't
and
believe
Snickers
it.
bars.
It's so bad.
What are we doing? And this is California.
We're
why?
profiteering, man.
Yeah,
that is the
yeah.
answer to your question.
I had
Funny.
this thought. I don't know what you guys think. It just popped into my head when talking about kids, and you got to worry today with all this
100%.
junk food everywhere. Everyone's transitioning now and everything. What do you think of this policy? If you think this is fair of me as a father, I have boy-girl twins.
Okay.
If my daughter says to me she's going to transition, I will say, fine.
How old is she?
16. She's not gonna.
Okay.
She's into it. She's into being a chick.
Okay.
And my son's into being a dude.
All right.
But I just want to know what you think about this policy and if it'd be fair. Of me
I
as
know
a
this
father.
policy that you can start as allowing your teen to transition in California, correct?
No, this is my personal policy.
Oh,
This is a
okay. A
hypothetical.
personal. I'm so sorry.
It's all
Because
right.
I do know that policy in California.
It's all
I think it's insane. Can't get a tattoo before you're freaking 18, but you can begin changing your.
If my daughter, and again, she loves being feminine. She loves being a girl. She like celebrates it. She likes getting dolled up and going to the Oscars and stuff. And my son's into all things dude. So I don't think this is going to happen. But I'm just saying, if it does.
If it does.
And for other families of boy-girl twins listening, if the daughter comes to me and says, I'm going to transition into a boy, I will accept it and I will support it. But I'm going to have to walk into my son's room and explain to him he needs to transition into a girl because I got boy-girl twins and I kind of want to keep it that way. You know
want to
what
keep
I mean?
it balanced.
And my son's
that.
he's probably going to protest. You
No,
know what I
it
mean? But I'm
isn't.
going to go.
Your
better
house,
talk
your
to your-
rules,
you better
Adam.
talk to your sister.
Your
Go
house,
talk to
your
brother.
rules.
You can go talk to her about it.
Yeah.
Or you can let me drive you over to visit a physician nearby. But either way, I start with boy-girl twins. I'm ending with boy-girl
Yeah.
twins. So you guys work it out.
Sorry, Sonny.
Sorry, Sonny.
I get it.
You're moving over.
I think it's your house, your rules. You're the one paying the bills.
Yeah.
Putting the roof
Look,
over their head, food on the table.
You're going to get a break on your auto insurance. You may live 7 years longer. That's unclear.
Oh, yeah,
I don't.
the
There's
science
some,
isn't out on that
good
yet.
data to support that statistic, by the way.
Yeah, well, there is for women that were born women.
Yes, because
Once-
it has to do with iron, actually, arguably, because we bleed every month. We lose iron every month, whereas men collect iron over the
Well,
course of
you
their
know,
lifetime.
I'm not
which
make
has
that
health
part of the
ramifications.
pitch then.
Yeah,
I'm not going to.
He could give blood.
Don't
He
get
could
into
give
the
blood.
iron talk, yeah.
Giving blood is the key, and then he could buy that 7 years back, it transitioned or not.
Okay.
Arguably.
Anyway,
Potentially.
we've all signed off on
I
my
think so.
policy. It's a solid policy.
Now, here's something I think you both disagree on.
Yeah.
So, Jillian,
Yes.
a few years ago, like when your book came out, you were talking about the keto diet and how you weren't, especially when the keto diet was getting hot, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
you
were,
like keto? Who's got you on this diet?
No, Vinny Tortorich. I'm not. I'm all over the fucking road. I have noticed that carbs make me fat. That's what I have noticed.
Okay, hang on.
I also like intermittent fasting. Like I'm just
That's
not.
excellent.
I'm just
Okay.
not a. I don't eat until the nighttime, pretty much.
he really doesn't. I go on the road with Adam and he won't eat all day.
I find that a cup of coffee with some cream or MCT oil in it or some fat of some kind in the morning, combined with a busy schedule.
Yes.
If you are sitting at fucking home in your bathrobe, I'll make 13 trips to the kitchen. And Chris knows my schedule, lunch isn't part of the schedule. There is no break for
It sucks
lunch.
when I want to get lunch.
Right.
You don't want to go.
So, and I'm saying the MCT oil, the cream, or whatever sort of the fat that satiates,
Yes.
for me, as important as the schedule. You would be surprised that if you just sort of hit the ground running in the morning and take off, you kind of forget to eat. If you sit home, you will graze. But sorry, keto.
Okay. Well, on the intermittent fasting piece, there's two ways of looking at this. So if you're looking at it with regard to weight loss, you have to incorporate calorie restriction. Arguably, you would think that by limiting the window in which you're consuming food, you would be cutting calories because you've cut the late night grazing, you've cut the breakfast. So the only areas where OMAD has shown to be potentially detrimental is that people end up overeating when they finally eat. And it's not great for their digestive health, and they're slamming their body with all these calories and all this stuff at the same time. So if you eat reasonably in that eating window, it's shown to be excellent for you, involving things like, in particular, autophagy, right, where the body does housekeeping and cleans up the dead and senescent tissue. That in conjunction with calorie restriction, if you're trying to lose weight, is excellent. If you're not trying to lose weight and you're just doing it for anti-aging and longevity, it's excellent to limit the window. And it's not necessarily low carb, it's carb quality you need to think about. That is the key. If you're eating high fiber, complex carbohydrates, then you're getting all kinds of great nutrition, right? The vitamins, the minerals, the fiber for your gut microbiome, healthy fats.
What are some high quality carbs?
Nuts have carbs in them.
Oh, nuts is definitely good for keto.
Vegetables.
Vegetables are good for keto.
Even now,
I'm not
like
talking about
potatoes?
just eating meat all day. I'm saying
Okay.
The keto version for me is for breakfast, have some eggs, have some sausage, don't have the toast, I guess. Or for dinner, have the steak, have the broccolini, don't have the
Broccolini.
potato.
Okay.
It's just really just kind of removing the carb from the plate that's already kind of there. But nuts, cheese nuts,
We love
you
nuts.
know,
But you
vegetables
need-
and all that stuff are fine.
okay.
According
Can
to
I
Vinny
recommend
this
a
time.
guest? This gentleman is named Dr. William Lee. He's an angiogenesis doctor at Harvard, but he's dedicated his life to studying food and utilizing food to beat disease, literally. Cured his 80-year-old mother of cancer with food.
Is he in Palm Springs or is that another guy?
No, he's on the West Coast. But
Wait a minute. What
East
coast is
Coast.
Palm-
oh, for God's sake, guys.
That's all
Thank
right.
you. I'm
She was
sorry.
from
I'm
That's all right.
Thank you.
Carry on.
It's a big press
Okay, I'm
story
gonna be
right
all
now.
right. Didn't take
It's
my
all good.
Adderall this morning. Kidding. All right. Anyway, when he sits down and explains to you how certain antioxidants and polyphenols and things like purple potatoes can help prevent prostate cancer, right? Or how certain polyphenols in berries can help with longevity, like ficitin and quercetin, or things in Arizona berries can help to stimulate your body's stem cells. You start to look at food a little bit differently. I want you to look beyond the weight piece of this and look more at gut microbiome, right? Fighting disease, living as long as possible. And when you look at that data, whether it's the blue zones or you're looking, by Dan Buettner, or you're looking at Dr. Lee's work,
People live to over 100?
over 100. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
centenarians.
Yes. No, I agree. No, and
Just
to
want you
be
to get
fair
some good carbs in there. Just a little bit. I don't need you eating chips and the flour and the sugar. You get skip, man.
I mean, come on.
Vinny's like, eat all the berries you want, eat all the nuts you want.
Okay.
His thing is sort of
Whole
like
food.
stay away from the peanuts and eat more macadamia nuts or something like that for his whatever. But it's basically eat every vegetable except for maybe potato and eat all the nuts you want and eat all the berries
Well,
you
his
want.
thing is just it's no sugar and no grains. That's kind
Then
of the
that
basis.
actually works just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
but are
it.
you allowed to eat? Is he like an anti-lectin guy? So if you cook things like beans and legumes, is he anti that?
I don't think he's a pro bean and legume man, but I don't. Look,
Because
it
those
all,
things are good for really good for your gut health, and the whole
it
lectin
all-
conversation is kind of
it
nonsense.
all basically works out to is if you're following a regimen, you'll be fine.
Yes,
if you're
that's true.
doing something other than free grazing everywhere.
Yeah, and you're mindful of it.
And you avoid processed foods. You
Yes.
eat things that are real foods, right? You don't overeat. You use common sense.
Yes.
Honestly, you have a minimal 12-hour fast window, which most people can accomplish easily because it happens while you're sleeping, hence the term break fast. And you move regularly. Doesn't have to be crazy HIIT workouts. You'll be fine. That's
Yeah.
exactly
Just give
right.
away all our secrets just now.
I have listen. Everything in life, and I'm a broken record with this, but it covers every subject in life. It's just I always just go diet and exercise. And they're talking about, what about the kids? And what about just not as it pertains to diet and exercise, just the life version of diet and exercise. You do that, you'll never get fat. Meaning,
Yeah.
don't have kids when you're in high school. Don't get into trouble with the law. Don't
Yeah.
tell your boss
Common
to fuck
sense.
off. Graduate college, get married, then have kids. That's diet and exercise. That's like life, diet, and exercise. You do the version of diet and exercise for everything in life, then you're fine.
That sounds
You're
like a relatively reasonable amount of discipline and common sense.
Agreed. All right, now a clip that I've been wanting to play. I play it about every 3 years from Little Miss Sunshine of when we jumped the shark.
As
As
humans?
a society. As a society. And the reason, listen, I go through life with my antenna radar dish spinning around, and I tap into stuff. Little Miss Sunshine is 2008. We'll figure it out. It's right about the time the wheels came off the wagon.
06.
06, even better. It's been coming up on 20 years of Little Miss Sunshine. First off, Little Miss Sunshine, overly and wildly celebrated movie, didn't need to be celebrated. It was fine. This scene in Little Miss Sunshine from 2006 is where we jump the shark because they're eating breakfast and the chubby little girl, Little Miss Sunshine,
Abigail Spencer,
is going out to breakfast, and you have the dad, the heterosexual dad who's trying to provide for his family, who's talking common sense at this table with a pedophile junkie uncle or some sort of sex-addicted junkie grandpa that was thrown out of Shady Acres for slamming heroin. Then you got the gay guy who tried to commit suicide because his boyfriend broke up with him. And then you got Dano, the weird goth son who says he wants to be a fighter jock, except for he will not communicate using his voice. You have three of the most fucked up people on the planet and the shrew of a wife all turning on the one human being at the table that is actually making sense because his chubby-ass daughter is going to a bikini competition in 3 days, and he's telling her maybe it wouldn't be a great idea to eat waffles a la mode for breakfast. And as viewers, we are supposed to take the side of the four crazy fuck-up misfits who are poisoning the daughter and attack the dad who is thinking reasonably and speaking to his daughter about weight gain. So here we go.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Thank you, Cheryl.
All right, so hold on for a second.
Waffles and ice
Listen,
cream.
if you're letting your kid eat waffles and ice cream for breakfast, then you are a shit parent.
I agree.
If you're letting your overweight kid eat waffles and ice cream for breakfast, you're a shittier parent. And if that kid is on their way to a bikini competition called Little Miss Sunshine, you're an even shittier parent. But here we go.
Olive Richard
All right,
is
hold
an
on.
idiot.
The mom has her face buried in her hand. Like, oh my,
I hate
my
this
God.
guy.
Like, he's explaining to the daughter, this is the time we're living in now.
Yeah.
This is the Biden-appointed health czar who's explaining, this is how we got here.
Well,
This
she
is
put
how
her
we got
on
here.
anti-obesity
This movie.
drugs in just a few more
The
years.
mom
That's her plan.
has buried her face in her hands going, it's like, it's as if the father was telling the daughter, look, everything Hitler did wasn't bad. There were some positives there. Like, that's what you would do. You would be like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, he is telling his daughter that if you eat ice cream a lot, you will get fat. And everybody on the table's like, oh, dear God, no. They're the problem. It's not the daughter. It's not the fucking, it's the fact that Bill Maher brings up obesity and everyone turns on him. It's like, look, if you weren't obese, maybe COVID wouldn't hit you. It's like, oh boy, Bill, now we got a problem with you, boy. Like, what?
Well, the narrative obviously has become just central to everything. And if you don't subscribe to the narrative, and we all know the two narratives right now in this category, one is you're either healthy at any size, right? Big and beautiful. And beautiful, look, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You can be big and beautiful. You can be smaller and beautiful.
Dudes don't dig it.
That's irrelevant.
Sorry.
Maybe not, right?
No, definitely not.
Totally.
We're not into it.
We'll table that concept. Because,
Never met that dude.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Don't know him, just like I don't know the homeless guy. I don't know the homeless guy who is a hardworking dad.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Doesn't exist.
But then the second part of it is if we are going to acknowledge it's not good for you, then it's not your fault.
Yeah.
So if you don't subscribe to that, you're a fat shamer. And this is how we silence common sense, right? This is that big middle ground that you're talking about, that we kind of shame those people into silence and allow the extremes to rule. And then you got to ask, why are we allowing that? And this is where I go back to
Little Miss Sunshine.
man. But I will tell you this, if he had changed the words, I think that would have gone over better. So if he was like,
that's
baby,
the delivery.
you eat a ton of that shit, you're going to be super unhealthy. You'll be much healthier if we change that. I got around
disagree.
some of the stigma.
This is too much. I've had it a million times. Like people have said to me a million times, you have to understand what that sounds like coming from you. I'm like, I'm telling a person who works for me to stop being late. Yeah, but you have to understand what that sounds like. Like, I hope it sounds like me telling him not to be late. It's like he's saying, you eat ice cream, you get fat. Fine. Suck it up, bitch. All right, roll it back like 10 seconds. Let's just continue the scene. I just love I love the fact that the good guy in this equation is supposed to be the bad guy to all the idiots who watch this movie.
I can see you relating to him a lot.
Yes, thank you.
But they're not making the equation to health, and that's the issue here. See, if you're saying skinny is better, then people are going to get pissed because the implication is fat people don't have value. If you make it about health, which is really how you need to communicate this. Listen, Adam, I hear you.
I'm tired of everybody.
But would you? I totally get it.
You get COVID. No one wants to fuck you.
Okay, but
you want to go through life that way?
Listen, it's the vernacular, right? The vernacular is powerful, and so if we're saying to someone,
Two
"Hey,
idiots, two soft-ass idiots,"
you gotta say this. Hey, right? You're a valuable person. Because you are so valuable, we want you around as long as possible.
Yeah,
this shit's going to kill you. Not eating it will keep you around. Why do we want that? Because you're great.
I don't know that everyone's that valuable. Dawson got fucking T-boned 10 minutes ago by a non-valuable person. I got my car
then
destroyed.
Let that guy eat ice cream.
Destroyed by a non-valuable person. There's non-valuable people killing other people all day. Not everyone's valuable, Jillian. I got news for you.
Then let that guy eat a ton of ice cream. Who gives a shit?
All right, listen. Frank Grillo's here, so you guys got to have a fucking pose down in the hall.
Okay.
That much. I want to play the rest of this clip, though, because it's so bothersome to me, but I don't want to miss your guys' pose down. So.
Let me ask you this.
Chamomile.
Listen, we declared war.
And here's your
we're
ice
good.
cream.
We declared war on sane dads like 10 years ago.
That's
Big
true.
fucking mistake.
That is very true.
Big fucking mistake.
That's very
what's going on. All right, Jillian, you earned yourself a plug.
Thank you.
The fitness app. It's available on Apple, Google App Store, and everywhere. You find it in the podcast, too. Keeping it real. Conversations with Jillian Michaels as well. Always a delight, my dear.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Am I going to have my pose down now?
Frank Grillo always shows up in fighting shape.
Yeah.
And his son Remy is here as well. And we'll talk to him right after this. You need some floral and some fauna in your life. And I'll take care of the tree part with fast-growing trees. From shade to fresh fruit. Breathe life into your backyard this spring with fastgrowingtrees.com. Their experts curate thousands of plants, and you'll find the perfect fit for your unique climate. Their plant experts are always available to help you keep your plants healthy through the season. No long lines and hauling heavy plants around. Order online. Your plant is shipped to your door in just a few days. I've gotten a couple of trees from these guys, and they are a great company. The trees are amazing. I have them over there in Malibu at my condo, and they just liven up the place. Plus, they scrub the air. Plus, by the way, with their 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, you know everything is going to look fresh right out of the box. It's fast-growing trees, right, Dawson?
Join over 1.5 million happy, fast-growing trees customers. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com/Adam now to get 15% off your entire order. Get 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com/Adam. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace man, couple things to add to your list of things to do before you die. First one is being chased by someone on top of a building, and you jump off and you land in a dumpster, which somehow perfectly pads your fall. Second one, have a job where when you answer your phone, all you have to say is your last name. Get it on, baby.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, but you have to have a cool last name, like Dan Tana in Vegas would answer his phone, Tana. But if your last name is Fagenbaum, it just doesn't come across as cool. Frank Grillo in here with his son, Remy. I don't even have to say his last name. You've done the math. They got a movie called The Resurrection of Charles Manson. It's in theaters and VOD as you hear this. And Frank's in it, and Remy directs Nepo Baby.
Yep.
So I'm so excited that we have a category for every single thing.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean? We got your pronouns, we got your Nepo babies.
Is that what it's called for real?
This is the time of the Nepo Baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been the talk of all the press.
Of course.
Nepo baby.
Yep.
Where have I been?
Especially with Jamie Lee
Not a
Curtis
Nepo
just
baby.
winning.
Right.
Yes, your parents were famous in the industry, and now you have a job in the industry, and thus
And
Nepo.
a room in my house.
Yeah. I love how Remy just reps it though. He's like, yeah, that's what's happening.
I mean, it is.
How long you been directing for, Nepo? I mean,
I went to school for it, but this is my first feature. So a year.
and
Oh, it's your first. It looks good, man.
Thank
like
you,
the,
yeah.
everything, the cinematography, the
Thank
look
you
of
very
it.
much.
Didn't start out that way.
No, it was a work. It was work. Well, no, yeah.
how long was the shoot?
13 days.
Wow, that's a
Yeah, it was
quick.
supposed to be about 16, but we got shut down for COVID and lost a couple. Yeah.
Wow, it's hard to make a movie in 13 days.
It
Very
is,
hard.
and you know, not to interject, but I will. It's a little tiny movie. It's getting. Fortunately, and maybe scarily, it's getting more buzz than a movie this size normally would. So, you know, I told him manage your expectations because people might not write nice things about you.
Yeah,
that
but
might happen.
I did a bunch of Zoom stuff this morning too, and people seem to be just enjoying for what it is. You know, it's a kooky little cult thriller about a Charles Manson family, and they're enjoying it. And it's not taking itself too seriously.
Who wrote the script?
These two guys, Josh and Brev.
And I think I know those dudes. Nepos. Both Nepos. And so how did the script get to you? And then did you bring it to Pops, or how did that work?
So I met Josh. We went to the same boxing gym in Santa Monica, and I met him 2018. And beginning of 2021, he came to me and had the script, knew I was in school, knew I did a internship with Blumhouse, and kind of was just asking me for notes and, some critiques. And that lasted about 6 months. They had a director. In December, he dropped out, and he was like, you've been on this for so long. How you feel about doing a pitch deck? We worked on it. He helped me with it. And that January, I got the job.
Frank, you're always working on stuff as well outside of this.
Yeah.
What do you got in the pipeline?
I have a movie coming out with J.K. Simmons and Scotty Kahn. Scotty wrote the movie, and Virginia
Really?
Madsen. Yeah, One Day as a Lion, which is kind of like it's. I'll tell you, Scott reminds me of his father James in this movie. It's kind of a fun, dark comedy. Takes place. in
Scott
Oklahoma.
Kahn.
Yeah, Scotty.
Nepo
Nepo
baby.
baby.
Nepo baby.
Nepo baby.
Their time.
I know. And then I got this big werewolf. It's kind of like The Purge, only instead of one night of mayhem, it's one night that the big moon comes out and these wolf-like things, and I save the world, man.
Really?
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Have you shot it already?
Yeah, we shot it. It's going to hit. I think it's going to hit in August in like 3,000 theaters. So it's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. You know, it's that kind of a movie.
You know how in that voicemail we just listened to, and the guy's like, "Oh, if you want to jump off a building and land into a dumpster and be perfectly
Done it.
fine." Frank looked at me and he mouthed, "I did that."
Did that? Done it.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I've done lots of like jump off buildings, land in the big balloons, which is supposed to be the dumpster, and like Boss Level, I did it, and a couple of other movies I've jumped off of buildings.
You do your own stunts?
I do a lot of my own stunts. I do all my own fighting. I do a lot of the driving. Some of the jumping is a little too much, so I leave it for the pros. I don't really need to be jumping off a building. I'm 107 years old.
Are you guys doing a lot of boxing and working out, doing that stuff?
Every day.
I know.
Every day.
Last time you were here, I would say like a week after is when your trainer was murdered. Remember?
One of the guys who trained in my gym.
Oh, he was
murdered.
Yeah, and I remember I
Yeah.
seen your interview at TMZ, and you were talking about just the criminals.
Yeah, they got the guy.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, the guy. It was kind of an illegal marijuana dispensary, and they had words, and that's what people do. I guess they shoot each other.
I don't get that part of life. Like
Yeah.
I freak out. Like if I open my car door and it barely touches the parked car next to me, I'm racked with guilt. I couldn't imagine just shooting somebody.
Brother, I'm with you, man. I get out of my car sometimes, not because I park close, I never do, but because somebody has parked close to me.
Right.
And you would think that the guy's car was a Rolls Royce. I get out, I'm going to make sure I don't touch the other guy's car. I'm the same way, but people in this city are not that way.
I will use the sunroof or the exhaust pipe. My self-esteem is so low. I've come out of exhaust pipe. You guys tell me this, then hypothetical.
Yeah.
Hypothetical, what do we do in this department? I come pulling into the Improv last night. I was telling this earlier in the show. It's torrential rainstorm. I park in the corner, the parking lot across from the Improv. The whole parking lot is sloped to this corner. I don't know it. I open my car door. I put one leather shoe out the door. It goes up to my shin, halfway up the shin. I pull my foot out. Oh, God damn it. I can't get out of the car except for if I use my exhaust pipe move. So I then start the car back up, back it out, and I find another parking spot that doesn't have a lake next to it. 2 minutes later, while I'm sitting in my car, a guy pulls into that spot. Now it's dark and it's raining. He's going to do the exact same thing I just did, but I'm sitting in my car and it's raining. His windows are kind of fogged up. Do I get out of my car before he opens his door and like on his rear windshield or his trunk lid?
I think that's fine.
Do I do that? Because I got about 18 seconds where I just sat there looking at him.
You watch it happen.
All I did was watch him open the door, shut the door, and back the car back out
it's
again.
bystander apathy.
Oh, yeah.
I would have done the same.
Plus, I feel like you go to tell the guy and he gets mad. And
Yeah,
starts
that's what
yelling at you
happens
for
in
no
Well,
reason.
you don't know. Like you could tap on the back window and the guy could spaz out and throw it in reverse or something.
Yeah, look, if it's the middle of the day and you're in a Target parking lot, maybe you kind of say,
Right.
"Hey, buddy, watch out over there." But at night, when it's raining in LA, where everybody's ornery and miserable,
Right.
I'm not getting them. No.
You guys are hitting the boxing gym every day?
Yeah, we train every day.
different gyms.
Sometimes we train together, but mostly different gyms. But he's been training since he's 11. He's always sparring, and he's a pretty tough kid.
Wow.
I mean, I'd beat the shit out of him.
Sure. But Nepo Baby will turn on you one
Nepo
day.
Baby
Pop.
will
You already have
turn
your
on.
nickname.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he likes to trigger me a lot, this kid. Like, he'll leave shit all over the place. And I don't like that.
Still
I like,
living at home.
Yeah. Well, I just bought a house. I just...
You got some square footage.
Yeah, I got like 8,500 square
That's
feet.
square footage.
And I'm alone. So my guy lives with me, and we have a great time.
You probably go the whole day without seeing each other.
And he's the same age as my girlfriend, so when I don't understand what they're talking about, when she's talking about, I look at him for reference.
You have a translator, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Kinda
awesome.
works out nicely.
Yeah,
great.
but you got to watch out with the young girlfriend because you go to Canada for six weeks to shoot. Nepo Baby gets a little handsy.
No, I've seen him naked. There's no threat. There's no threat.
So, what is this phenomenon about parents being friends with their kids that didn't seem to exist when I was a kid? You and I are about the same
Yeah,
age,
brother.
Frank.
Yeah.
Not only did my own parents not like me, none of my friends' parents liked me. They all were mean. They all hated us. We didn't like God forbid. Dad came home of your friend and you were standing in the kitchen eating a granola bar or something.
Isn't
Like,
that-
what the fuck are you doing?
Isn't that amazing?
They hated us.
Hated us.
They'd come in, inevitably you'd have to borrow something or you'd go, let's get your dad's
no.
golf clubs and go fuck around in the backyard. And at some point he'd come out, what the fuck you doing with my golf clubs? Could you, now, not only am I friends with
we
my
do
kids,
everything
we
at this
hang
point.
out.
We
I
hang
got
out.
friends
You
with
too,
their
right?
friends.
Yeah, I'm friends with
Go
their
out,
friends.
we
We
do
hang
drinks.
out. We go out. We microdose together. It's fucking awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
We stopped drinking. So we're like, what do we do now? And
Wow.
And he trains the way I
Yeah.
train. We eat together.
We also, we spent every day together in COVID.
Yeah.
That was kind of a big thing too.
He's come on
Yeah.
he's come on movies with me. I've taken him all over the world with me too. So.
There's what the fuck
My
happened with
father,
our
I
parents?
swear to God, I was in the 11th grade and it was raining and my father happened to be home and there was a car in the driveway, which was always touch and go. There were, and I said, hey, Pop, I need a ride to school. So he begrudgingly got in the car and we sat there and he goes, Where's your school? Where's your school? Like my father didn't even know where I went to. I've been going for 3 years.
They know what district you're in.
No.
Oh God, I know. Oh God, my dad used to sit. I lived across the street from the school. I was the star of the football team. My dad would sit on the sofa every Friday night and read a book at 8 o'clock while I was playing.
He didn't go to the games.
No, and from the sofa, you could hear the band, boom, 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 like in the distance, you know, the kettle drum, playing something. You could see like the faded lights of the stadium. Never got off the fucking sofa.
Are you kidding me?
He knew where the school was. He never
Oh
went.
my God, that story's better. Like I wrestled and played football. My father never. He never came. My mother would show up, but we didn't live across the street from the school.
There is a song, by the way, Ben can look it up or Chris can. Someone can look it up. There's a song that chronicles your microdosing, father and son.
No.
Really?
Yes. I mean, they don't mention Frank and Nepo Baby. But it's a song from a band called Dada, one of my favorite bands from like the 90s, 80s,
yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
Had a couple of good songs. Going to Disneyland was one of them. And they had some good songs. I know the guys, good guys. There is a song called I Took a Trip with My Dad. And it's a song that the drummer, the bass player wrote about going out with his dad and doing acid.
That's genius.
So
We
it
haven't
may
hit
be
acid yet.
something you want to play.
That's genius.
While you're microdosing.
By the way, I don't know if you guys have ever microdosed psilocybin mushrooms, but it is like it's brought us like on another level of consciousness with each other. Like we're like, because I drank a lot of wine and I stopped drinking and we just started doing this. I'm like, wow, there's a whole other world out here. It's pretty cool.
Is there like a ceremony then when you do it, or do you just
I
do
have a
it
living
casually?
shaman. No, there's no ceremony. I just go, I take a gummy or a piece of chocolate and I go, boop, and I throw it to him and it's like, game on.
Oh, is that
But
the house?
we'll get like new batches. Like we'll do chocolates, we'll do gummies. And so we got a new batch of chocolates a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we both took one, and it was in the afternoon, and he took it, and then I took it, and I went to go box. I was going to spar, and he calls me. He goes, "Are you driving?" I go, "Yeah, I just left the house." He goes, "I can't move." he goes,
I got nervous because he was driving.
yeah, he goes, "I'm laying in my bed. I can't feel my legs. Are you all right?" I go, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay." I was so focused on driving. I got to the gym. I parked. I got out of the car, and it was just like, woof. I was like, shit, I have to go get hit now for an hour.
And he did, the idiot.
I came back. I was having a great time. Sure. But I got a little banged up.
I think we got the song from like 1997 or
Oh, that's
something.
when I was born.
That's when I was born.
All right.
We've done that on a Sunday.
a
going to
good
Malibu.
song,
That's
right?
a really kind of Oasis sounding kind of, that was great.
Dada's a great
Dada's-
fucking
yeah.
underrated
Yeah.
band.
Yep.
But
Yep.
now
Now
you
we know.
have your
my theme
soundtrack.
song.
That is
Yeah,
amazing,
that's great.
man. I'm going to tell you, without sounding too like L.A. weirdo, kooky actor, dude. It really, this microdosing stuff. I mean, mushrooms were illegal when I was young. You
Yes.
weren't allowed to do them, but it's great, man. And I feel better not drinking too. I mean,
Yeah, Mom's
we
going to love
talked
this
about-
when she listens to
I
this.
drank a lot of wine, a lot.
So I know. Listen. Anything that works, I'm for. And you guys are living such a healthy lifestyle. And first off, it's great you have 8,500 square feet. If you got an 1,100 square foot apartment, Nepo Baby
We have a
gets tired of
sauna in the house as big as this studio.
real fast. Yeah, so that's awesome. But yeah, now here's the other question for Remy, and this is on the subject of sort of, yes, being friends. The parents, our parents,
Yeah.
what our parents are. We were an annoyance to our parents.
God.
And to my friends' parents, I was a liability. Showed up, broke shit, ate too much, went home. You know what I mean? Like, no one wanted me around. My daughter announces, she announces 3 weeks ago, I need to go to the Oscars. You know, she's 16. I'm like...
To the actual Oscars.
Oh, we can find the clip. I'm going to illustrate this point. I am almost in as great a fashion as that song you just heard, bringing it home. There's a clip. If someone, my daughter texted it to me. It's of Jimmy Kimmel on Kelly and Ryan Seacrest's show the following day, and And so what I'm saying is so my daughter goes, I want to go to the Oscars. Or can I go to the Oscars? You know, she's nice. I go, yeah, I'll work something out.
Nice.
Then I procrastinate. Then it gets to be like 2 days before the Oscars. And then I don't want to bother Jimmy because Jimmy's super responsible. He will do it. Like he'll stop what he's doing and go make sure, you know, whatever.
That
But
she's in the show.
no, at the just
But
in
she's
the
there.
she's there. She gets a
Watching.
ticket.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then then there's the governor's ball. So then I'm like, I hit Jimmy's agent, my agent, James Baby Del Dixon, and I'm like, hey, I need a ticket. I got to get a ticket. He's like, I'll try. You know, it's tough though. It's 2 days out. You know, and then he tries one thing. He's like, no luck. And then he tries the PR, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I got you a ticket. And then I said, okay, you're sitting with. Now it's confusing because Jimmy's dad's name is Jim. Jimmy's name is Jimmy. Dixon's first name is James Dixon, the agent, and Jimmy's best friend is Jimmy Gentleman from Vegas, right? So then I'm trying to tell my daughter, you're going to be sitting with Jim, and she's like, who's Jim? And it could be Jimmy's dad, it could be my agent, or it could be Jimmy Gentleman from Vegas. I don't know. And then later on, she comes back. She's like, I want to thank Jim. What's Jim's phone number? I was like, we got 9 guys named Jim. I don't know who you're talking about. But so now she's there, and we got the ticket. So now she's like, what about the governor's ball? I'm like, wow, what about the governor's ball? All right, let me text Dixon. So I got Dixon. He's
Dixon's the
working
agent.
on it. He's the agent. He's working on it. Now I got Jimmy working on it.
Which
I
one?
got
Kimmel.
got him working on it. I got everyone working on it. So I'm sitting home like panicked that she's not going to get into this gala,
Governor's
right?
ball.
The governor's ball, like you and I.
Like Jay-Z sometimes can't get into the governor's ball.
Right. So did we find
Was
that clip, by the way?
I think so. Did it? I think they're scrubbing through it now.
My daughter's name is Natalia. So this is all you need to know from this clip, I think.
The show ended, everybody clapped, whatever. My dad's like, yeah, we have to pick up Natalia by the. I'm like, yeah. Right, okay, we're back to reality.
I got Jimmy. I got his parents. I got my agent. I got his friends from Vegas. They're all deputized to make sure my daughter has
Makes
a
it.
good time,
And she's
goes
okay.
backstage, says hi to Jimmy, and goes to the governor's ball. Can you picture our fucking parents doing that?
Clip was seconds after the Oscars ended.
Seconds after the
amazing.
Oscar
That's
ends.
amazing.
As soon as Jimmy walks up stage, he gets a couple of high fives, and then the phone starts ringing. All right, it's time to get back to work.
That's great.
And I got to tell you something. It ain't easy for anyone to get that done. I mean, that's kind of like for. You're a big shot, pal. You're a big shot.
I know Jimmy's dad.
I know Jimmy well too. I'm going to call him. I need something next time.
Just in the realm of what our parents would
my
do.
parents didn't. Everything was an annoyance to my father.
Oh,
God
my
forbid
God.
I walked up in the morning into my kitchen and he was still there. You know what I mean?
I know. What is happening?
With my sons, first of all, my house is a restaurant because they all eat different things. I'm cooking, one's in the air fryer, one's in the broiler. I'm running around. I got to make sure they have all their stuff in my house when they come from my weekends. And see, I mean, right? I go to
then
the
we don't
grocery
see them.
store 3 times a week. My father never went to a grocery store in his life, ever, never, ever, never cooked for me. I am a slave to my children.
I know. I don't know. And you know what? They're all going to hate you. They'll hate us. They'll be in therapy in a few years talking about what an asshole you were.
What I didn't do.
Oh,
that
yeah.
time you lost your temper. I call
time.
sometimes I'm playing with them. I'll call them derogatory terms, and my little guy will go, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm like, well, get the fuck out of here then. What do you mean? And then my ex will call and say, Rio was a little upset. I'm like, a little upset is good. You need to be. Guess what he's got coming when he gets out into the world? A lot of upset.
Yeah, or just a wing in the 8,500 square foot home and a sauna as big as a blimp hanger.
By the way, they each have a wing.
A wing.
And I'm broke. I am broke.
So,
But you're right. Like in my generation, too. I think that's when we had pockets of the cool parents. Like a lot of the parents, we were really respectful.
I had a
to.
couple of cool parents.
But yeah,
I
the
don't
cool
know.
parent. I mean, the quote unquote cool parents who would let you drink, would let you throw parties at their house, so we would all end up going to their house.
Yeah.
And
That was my idea. It's like, let him do it with me.
Yeah.
At least I know he's home.
Oh, we've had fun, yeah. But it's funny because like I've stopped drinking and we're doing these shrooms now. But our youngest Rio, he got in trouble the other night. He was stuck in the Palisades and he had to it was torture to get him back to West
my
Hollywood.
house, yeah.
So he was kind of pacing, waiting for him to come in, and I was like, I've been here before in this situation. I was like, this isn't gonna end well. Like,
by the way,
it's gonna
next time,
explode.
call me. I'll tell
Yeah.
Jimmy to go pick him up. Jimmy, tell your dad.
So
Nepo baby's brother's trapped in the Palisades.
So Rio walks in, and I'm like, all right, here we go. This is good. Rio's gonna need this. And it was a very calm, next time, call me. We'll figure it out. And I look at him, I go, you've changed.
No, it's
You've
microdosing.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. We got some news. You guys going to hang out. We'll crack wise, and we'll do that right after this. ZipRecruiter job seekers, they want everything. Remote work, easier application process, snapshots of company culture. How do you stand out to candidates? ZipRecruiter, break through the clutter and attract the most qualified candidates. And right now, you can try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/Adam. That's right, free. ZipRecruiter's technology sends you great candidates for your job, and you can send a personal invite to your top choices. Instead of filling out lengthy applications, they can apply with just one click. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's how good ZipRecruiter is. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/Adam. Right, Dawson?
Get your job noticed by the best and brightest candidates. See for yourself. Go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Adam. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ADAM. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Oh, Riley. Love these guys. Love the fact that I used to use them back in the day. I still do. And then one day I'd be doing something called a podcast and they'd be a sponsor. Well, that just tickles me pink because, I love cars and I love doing it for yourself. And that's what O'Reilly's all about. It's O-Rewards bonus points month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Shop in store or online. Get points and rewards sent straight to your phone or your inbox. You can get 2, 3, or even 4 times the bonus points on select purchases. To get you to your next reward even faster, receive a $5 reward for every 150 O-Rewards points. And if you're already an O-Rewards member and not receiving the rewards, just add your email or mobile phone number and get a $10 reward just for updating your existing account. And you sign up. And it's quick and it's easy. Just go to O'ReillyAuto.com, O'ReillyAuto.com, or do it in a store. That's an O'Reilly store.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
Every gun make is autumn.
If you said the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Every gun makes its own tune.
you're correct. Now, back to the show.
Frank Grillo, Remy Grillo in studio. The Resurrection of Charles Manson, available in theaters and VOD as we speak. Dawson's got a little dada. Find the song Dim and Going to Disneyland. Those are my 2 favorite dada.
All right, cool. Well, first of all, I share a voiceover agent with the drummer of Dada, Phil Levitt, good friend of mine. Phil started a new band with the guitar player from Dada, Joey Callio. Their band is called Seven Horse, and you'll recognize them because of the song Meth Lab Zoso sticker that was featured heavily in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
But they're still writing songs, great songs, but not the guy who took a trip with his dad. Different guy. That was another dude in the band. And then I watched the trailer for The Resurrection of Charles Manson. Got me really excited.
Thank you, yeah.
It reminded me of a movie starring the great Scott Bakula that came out in 1995, and I'm wondering if you ever saw this. It's called Lord of Illusions.
Yeah, I saw it.
I haven't, no.
It's very, very reminiscent. Just the trailer to that. It's worthwhile checking out. But I was wondering if the writers had maybe borrowed or saw that movie before. I imagine these guys are about as young as you are, so probably they didn't see the movie, which is really interesting how these things come around.
Yeah, nor did they really know how to write a script.
Yeah.
We had to do a significant amount of work, and to their credit, they're young guys, they're neophytes. But the script was all over the place. And the truth be told, the only reason why I did the movie is because of my son. I want to help Nepo baby. I want to help him, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't have come 10,000 miles within this movie. But what we did, my friend Gavin O'Connor, I think you know Gavin. He directed Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Loved Warrior.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah. So he gave him notes. He showed us the movie, gave him notes. I actually told the story on Jimmy Kimmel and gave him notes, and because it was terrible. The first cut was unwatchable. And I said, hey, dude, you're either dead in the water or you got to go back and recut the whole movie and reimagine it. He was missing stuff, and and so
COVID
to his
messed us
credit,
up.
for 4 months working with very green producers and people who it's always the people who don't know what they're doing who want to get involved most of all. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
so
sure.
there's that. But I think he put together a movie that is really watchable and kind of fun, and it looks cool. And but again, it's made for a lot less than $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was it taking direction from your son?
What? No, I didn't. I wanted him. I never wanted to emasculate or take the piss out of him, right? And the reason why I was there is because I want him to learn. So whenever I saw something that wasn't right, I'd pull him to the side. I go, it's not a good shot. This is what you should do. Right. And we kind of adjusted, right?
Cool.
But he really was the captain of the ship, and he dealt with some ornery performers on the movie that were not great. And he also dealt with COVID. And I thought he was going to get shut down permanently, and I can't believe he's sitting here.
It was we got shut down day 6, and it was, the budget was very small, and it was like, okay, you need that. I was like, I think $200,000 extra dollars to start back up. It's like, where do you find that money?
Right.
But we figured it out, and but no, the weekend he was there, or the week you were there, it was a lot of fun, but it was great because it got to be a very difficult couple of days with a bunch of different circumstances, and there was a moment where I was kind of going to talk to a couple people, and I texted him. I was like, I'm gonna need help on this one because it's just there's a lot going on, and I'm so beat down at this point. I just need some help. And I saw him coming out the corner of my eye, and I was like, this is gonna be rough.
Yeah, I had to impose my will.
Yeah,
It is. I made a couple of independent movies. It's daunting.
It's daunting.
It is
It's pushing
not,
a rock up a hill on the best of days.
I've made 2 independent films. It's the most work ever, and I've done a lot of documentaries. You do it at your own pace.
Yeah. Right.
It's like taking a test, but it's an open book test, and you have all the time you want.
Right.
This one is like, you got 90 minutes.
You gotta make it
Scantron, go. Anyone that goes past is going to be. It is fucking pressure cooker shit,
is a lot.
and it's all about the time.
Yeah.
And I always say the budget, the budget. The dream of the budget isn't for like special effects. It's like for time.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you shoot something and then you go, "Did we get it?" And it's like, I don't know, but we're moving on.
And by the way, that's why he ran into trouble. Worst
Right.
thing you could ever do is get into post and you don't have enough footage.
Right.
Right? When you have too much, you're fine. You can do all kinds of things.
But you have 7 setups in one day versus 1 setup on a
Right.
Spielberg film where you just
And you
get
take your
all
Or
time.
you
in the
need.
Marvel movies, I mean, we did the elevator scene in that one Captain America. It was 7 days we were in an elevator.
Right.
I mean,
But you have moments, and he was there for one of them. When like we're waiting, and the sun's going down, You're like, I got to cut the scene. I can't do it. I can't afford to just wait. And then it's like, great, that's another scene you don't have in post. How do we fix that?
And you get thrown, but you have to kind of improvise.
You have to be able
Yeah.
to go on the spot and be like, all right, how do I fix this? What do I do next?
Did a boxing movie called The Hammer that you guys should see because you like boxing.
Yeah.
And we're filming in a restaurant at some point, and we got thrown out of the restaurant. Like the guy just owned the restaurant. It's like, we're filming here. And we're like, we got this scene, this really important scene in a restaurant, and we just found a lunch truck. And the woman who was in the lunch truck, you can probably find the scene. She didn't even know she was in the movie. I don't think. She was just a woman in a lunch
you
truck.
guys gonna order or what?
But you did it in front of the lunch truck.
Yeah, we went to, we called the lunch truck to meet us in the parking lot. And we were like, we'll just do the whole scene standing in front of the lunch truck. I was going to take him out to lunch and have a heart-to-heart with him in the movie, but why not have the heart-to-heart standing up in front of the lunch truck?
Maybe better.
Maybe better. And the poor woman who ran the lunch truck wasn't an actor, and the lunch truck wasn't a prop. She was a lunch truck. So we were just ordering food, and I was trying to talk to her through the window, and she didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. And we just left it in the movie.
And she didn't.
We'll find it. I don't know. We'll do some news. It's toward the end of the Hammer somewhere.
So since we're talking about movies, Quentin Tarantino, some information about his final, quote unquote, final movie has been released. It's called the name of the script is called The Movie Critic. Yeah, so supposedly Tarantino has the script. He's written the script and he's prepping to direct this fall. Logline details are being kept secret, but sources describe the story as being set in the late 70s in LA with a female lead as its center. And the possible story focuses on Pauline Kael, one of the most influential movie critics at the time.
I love all Tarantino movies.
Oh, man. How could you not, man?
Of course, everybody's going to watch it, of course, whatever he does. So,
yeah. I don't believe it's his last movie.
You don't?
No.
I hear he's got a show too that he wrote a show that he's gonna do.
Well, yeah, he wants to get into doing like limited series and plays after directing movies. So remember, he said that he wanted to direct 10 films or retire by the time he was 60.
Mm-hmm. But retire, I mean, he's a director. He doesn't work for UPS.
Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, so here's his quote in 2012 that he told Playboy. I want to stop at a certain point. Directors don't get better as they get older.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When you're making a movie, and I don't know when he made the declaration of 10, but when you're making your 4th movie or your 6th movie and you know how long the process is, for him it's 2.5 years, 3 years, like in between. Yeah. It's really easy to like make those kind of declarations because those declarations, when you're on movie 5 and you only go to 10, that's 20 years from now, you know?
Right.
But now that it's upon us, He's
a young guy. I mean, you know, he's a youngish guy. I mean, he certainly has a lot of mileage in front of him.
Well, he's turning 60 later this month. He's had 9 films made already, if you count Kill Bill as one. Yeah. Right. And he also said, usually the worst films in a director's filmography are the last 4 at the end. I'm all about my filmography, and one bad film fucks up 3 good ones. So I don't want that bad, out of touch comedy in mind. The movie that makes people think, oh man, he still thinks he is what he was 20 years ago. So he's worried about that. He's trying to retire on top.
Guys out there making Ridley
Spielberg,
Scott and Michael Mann,
Woody Allen, Michael Mann.
Michael Mann's making a movie right now in Italy.
So everybody wants
Ferrari
him.
and
He's been wanting to make Ferrari the movie for 25 years.
Yeah.
We have the food truck scene. You tell me if you think this woman knows she's in a movie.
Jerry, you can go on your own. Trainers don't qualify for the Olympics. Boxers do.
I don't know. Maybe he's right. I think he's right.
So that's it.
You gotta worry about yourself now, man. Bell reins you in. You gotta let your hands go.
Come on, Jerry, man. Don't change the subject.
I'm just saying, you got a lot of ability. You gotta think about your pro career.
I actually think you're relieved you don't have to go.
You guys do you have taquitos?
No, no tequila, only sodas.
No, taquitos.
Eh?
Taquitos.
Taquito?
Look, if you said spaghetti, I wouldn't be confused. Taquito.
Wait a minute.
Great.
The tequila line she threw in herself?
She thought I said tequila.
That's
great.
That's genius.
She's an improv master.
I don't think there was anything about that in the script.
No tequila. Just soda.
All right, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, anyway, so the movie critic is Quentin.
I'm looking forward to it.
That.
Yeah, and but as I said, he's looking to do limited series and plays and other creative outlets after. So
I'm with Frank. He'll do another movie.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about a prison in the UK. So it's according to some of the press, it's UK's quote cushiest prison, right? So this is where people who without, I guess, egregious crimes get placed. And now it has been released that at least 18 female guards in this prison have reportedly been fired or have resigned amid a flurry of sordid sexual accusations, including claims of sex inside the cells and one guard smuggling her underwear to an inmate. So all these female guards are just banging the prisoners right now.
Sounds.
I'm amazed that there are that many.
There should be a movie.
That many female guards in a male prison.
Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're a female guard in a male prison,
I'm
it
going to
seems-
get canceled for saying that.
It's very Euro.
It is
Yeah.
you don't see that a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think
you
you'll get canceled for that. It's pretty obvious. Like,
Yeah, it's
interesting.
really strange.
yeah, the one female guard in Con Air. She got attacked.
And look, having
That's
been
right.
to jail, I don't remember ever seeing a woman.
When were you in jail?
A long time ago. But there were no women guards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you got to believe the first woman to do it really sets off the domino
Right.
effect,
Right.
right?
Sets the tone.
Because nobody wants to admit to being patient zero for fucking an inmate, you know. But once a few of the other chicks in cell
Right.
block D,
Right.
now you're the outlier.
Yeah.
Now it's like
Right.
you haven't blown an inmate.
Right now, now you've created a community.
a community,
And
like-minded.
now- and what do we all want to be part of? A
We
community.
want to be part of the community.
Yeah.
It takes a village. As Hillary Clinton said to
think
fuck
that.
inmates. Yeah. So really, what you need is just one kind of brave,
Soul.
dynamic soul to step forward, fuck the first prisoner,
Yep.
and then the dominoes will follow. After
That's
that.
with everything. Like somebody took bull testicles at one point and said, "I'm going to eat these."
Right.
And
Took
then
one.
other
Right.
people
Yeah.
started eating bull testicles, and there's no, it's not a faux pas. It's okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, things just get unlocked.
so they put an end to it, I guess, or they suspended, or they whatever.
They fired a lot of them.
That's got to suck on, like, some of these women are probably single now, right?
Is that
Somebody.
Wait, is that
a real?
is that real?
I'm saying yes. That is.
That's
She's
a
hot.
prisoner?
They do oil paintings in prison.
So how would you guys feel if you were, like, dating online, you met a match, and then she was like, now that I got fired from my prison job, I got a lot of extra time, and then you'd be like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
Smuggle in a cell phone?
Right. No, I blew that guy.
I blew a couple inmates.
Yeah.
Is
Get
that-
over here.
Yeah, is that a deal breaker? Or is that
Hey, I am recently divorced, 3.5 years now, not so recently. I've been married my entire adult life. So for me, I think there are no holds. I'm willing to try anything. I'll dip my toe in any pond.
and she can't, she can't have an attitude with you about
No.
sex. She's been fucking prisoners.
Everybody.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean, no?
You fucked everyone in C Block.
Well, Mark Fairhurst, the chair of the Prison Officers Association, so he pinned blame on all these affairs and firings on, quote, the wrong kind of women getting hired. And he says, quote, staff being recruited don't have face-to-face interviews. It's all done on Zoom. So a lot of people getting these jobs don't have enough life experience and are susceptible to conditioning from prisoners. So he's saying it's that.
I got it.
I don't know. I think that's a little
Yeah.
too intellectual to just. They just wanted to have sex, and there
I
was an
think so, too.
opportunity. Human beings are opportunists.
And I got to imagine overall violence went down a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
In the
Well,
prison?
that's a good point. See, Nepo Baby knows a thing or two.
I talked to a prison guard or whatever once about conjugal visits,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like, from the Manson family, Tex Watson has, was it Watkins or Watson? I can't remember. It's Watson, right? He has 4 kids.
Yeah.
From prison.
While he was in prison.
While he was in
Yeah,
prison,
yep.
he sired, I think, 4 kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the
No,
fuck
this
is
is
that about?
Yeah.
And the prison guard was like, I don't like it either, but it keeps them in line.
Right.
Yeah.
Because A, they blow off a little steam.
Right.
And B, they know the conjugal visit's coming in 3 weeks. And if they start acting out,
They lose it.
no
It's
fucking pussy
brilliant.
for you.
It's actually a great
right?
idea. Yeah. It's
Right.
actually a
So
great idea.
I was like, all right, well,
Yeah.
that
I know
makes
for
sense.
me, if I go like 3 weeks, but if I go 3 weeks, I want to tear my hair out.
Yeah. But it's a hypothetical.
Hypothetically speaking.
Serious hypothetical.
Yeah, it's a sexual purge, if you will.
Yes.
All right, so Adam mentioned this earlier in the show, but California lawmakers are gearing up to debate a new measure that would put an end to the sale of tobacco products
this.
over the next several decades. So if passed, retailers will be banned from selling tobacco to anyone born after January 1st, 2007,
Yeah.
ever.
Right.
I
Which
mean,
is
there's ways around that, but I can see what they're saying.
it's going to lead to some weird situations. Because, like, when I was in high school, we'd go down to the Riverside Market when we were like 16, and we just wait in the parking lot. You know, we wait for the dude in the El Camino, right? Smoking the Moore cigarette. You know what I mean? Like, hey, dude, yeah,
also,
you go
like-
get some Mickey's Big Mouth. Yeah. Okay, you're classic. Now you're going to be 47. You're going to be standing in front of a 7-Eleven. Some guy who's 68 is going to walk by, and you're going to be like, hey, bro, here's $8. Can you help me out? My wife and kids are in the car.
Oh my God.
But I don't know many people my age and younger who really smoke cigarettes anymore.
Oh,
It's
I
kind of
see
fading
everyone
out.
smoking.
Not
I've never
not the
smoked.
guys, not people.
I notice it. I know.
But
Really
like when
not
I go
your
out,
age.
I don't see many people smoking cigarettes anymore.
It's
working.
It's dumb, but it's just another stupid California rule,
Yeah.
Right.
but that's unnecessary, or that we can get to when we're done with the homelessness and the taxes
Right.
and the horrible schools and the garbage everywhere. Like
And
once
the,
we
and the, yeah, and the taxes.
Yeah, once we get to all that, then by all means, let's work on the little minutia. We're basically, California is a burning house that is filled with like rodents and hobo flop and cockroaches and the sofa's on fire. And Gavin Newsom's like, what kind of crown molding we going with?
Exactly.
It's like,
It's exactly-
Gavin, we
it's-
got fucking fires to put out.
Yep.
We got rodentia living in here.
No.
There's human feces everywhere. All right, so you want to talk drawer pulls or knobs? Like, we're not going with the brushed
I know.
aluminum, Gavin.
I know.
We
He's
have
the
not-
guy who's moving the deck furniture on the Titanic.
Yes, that's what he's doing. All right.
Oh man.
Let's do one more.
Okay, sure. So Tiger Woods has been in the news recently because his ex-girlfriend has been suing him. She's trying to nullify their NDA that she signed with him during their 6-year relationship.
Yeah.
So Tiger claims that her name's Erica Herman. She's no victim of sexual abuse. So she's saying she was in order to, because if you're a victim of sexual abuse, then your NDA is void. Right? So she's saying that. But Tiger and his lawyers are like, she never alleged in her filings that Tiger committed any sexual wrongdoing. So it's a $30 million lawsuit that she's filing.
Is this the one who he had pack a bag, say they were going on vacation, then he locked her out?
Yeah. So
Genius.
I know.
I think his people took her to the airport or something.
Yeah, and he changed
Yeah.
the lock. So
And now she
out.
wants $30 million.
She wants $30 million because she alleges that Woods concocted a scheme to get her out of her house by promising her a, quote, short vacation.
Yeah.
So she got to the airport for the trip. Then Tiger's team told her that she's been locked out of the house and she couldn't go back. And she said it violated all an agreement they had, which was supposed to last 5 more years. It was an oral agreement that they have.
An oral agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, a couple things. Jesus Christ.
Look how she's looking at him.
Yeah,
by the
she
way.
doesn't
And Tiger said that no agreement existed, by the way.
Yeah,
so
she's
what
sizing
are you
him
gonna
up
do?
every minute. Like, what
She doesn't look, she doesn't look happy. But look, a non-disclosure agreement used to mean that.
Right.
Like, we shouldn't know the name Stormy Daniels.
Right.
Because we have a document that she signed that said, I'm not going to talk about fucking Trump.
Right.
But yet she's a household name. Like,
got a book.
the thing about the non-disclosure is it works until the person just breaches it and starts talking, and now we're all
then
talking
what?
about it.
Right.
And now
And then
what?
what? Yeah.
And now, whether it's Stormy Daniels or this chick, they're empty bags. Tiger Woods could sue her for something. What's she going to do? Everything she had was in Tiger's house.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Stormy Daniels had a couple of dates at Bob's Classy Lady in Van Nuys. Like, what are we going to do? Garnish her wages? She gets paid in dollar bills.
And the fact that you have to have an NDA with your girl, I don't know, to me, a little bit of a red flag.
There used to be like in Sinatra's day, there was just a built-in NDA.
Right.
The built-in NDA was Sinatra will have you killed, right. And everyone in town will think you're a whore. You choose your poison.
And by the way,
or both.
That meant something back then.
Yes.
That meant something. You
That's
know?
right.
It's like, you can say what you want, but good luck with Frank.
People are going to talk. Yeah.
Not now.
No.
That's why I don't leave my house.
Well, you got 8,500 square feet. You don't have to go anywhere.
I mean, I have everything I need right
Yeah,
there.
the mushrooms you could go anywhere.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's right. You never get in your car.
Well, by the way, the other night we had some leaks in this new house, and I took some mushrooms, and I was laying in my bed, and I had a 25-minute conversation with my house. We came to an agreement.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
About the leak.
Yeah, he was going to stop leaking, and we were going to get along. And then it was all good. It's all been great. Yeah, yeah. Guys, I highly recommend it. I got plenty of chocolates at my house. I will send you guys a bag.
Yeah.
I wonder that the oral agreement with your house isn't going to work, though.
The house just signed an NDA.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we can't talk about it.
All right, one more.
Let's do one more. All right. So there's this girl in South Carolina that's suing her school because so they were doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And so according to her, she was accosted by her teacher for walking to class instead of stopping and reciting it. And so she said the teacher yelled at her, confronted her, and pushed her against the wall. Quote, I was completely and utterly disrespected. No one has apologized. No one has acknowledged my hurt. The fact that the school is defending that kind of behavior is unimaginable. Of course, her parents are getting involved. The family's lawyers getting involved. And so, yeah, they're trying to go after the school now because she didn't do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I never said the Pledge of Allegiance in school.
I think our rule, at least in junior high, you just had to stop where you were.
Yeah.
It was sort of like...
I think we had to put our hand, is it on your heart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do what you do when you're driving and a fire truck is coming.
Right.
You just sort of pull over and stop.
Which is fine.
I agree. I agree too. But now, see, here's the problem with the pushing. We don't know if anyone got pushed or not.
Yeah,
because everyone just says everyone is assaulted and he put his hands on me and I felt threatened.
Abuse is the word. Everybody's abused.
He probably just went over there and told her to stop walking and then she sassed him or something. And I'd hate to be a fucking school teacher today. Could you imagine?
Oh, I hear the stories from my kids about what these kids do in school, and I'm like, and what happened? And my kids will go, nothing.
Not only that, but half the class is transitioning.
Oh,
there's nonstop talk about fucked up, like people getting disciplined because they fucked up someone's pronouns or something. I'm like, God damn!
Don't get me started. Then I'll definitely be canceled. Is that the teacher?
Oh, it's a female.
I think that's a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna bet, and I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I would bet that woman did not push that kid.
Right. Well, the parents are suing the teacher, the principal, the school district, and state education officials.
And what do they want? They want money?
Yes.
Yeah.
To make it right.
Oh, there
Make it
you
right.
go. Of course, money will make it right.
That heals every wound.
Sure does.
Here's what the lawyer
The
says.
school teacher's not even as hot as the prison guard.
I know. Not even
that prison guard was
close.
hot.
I'd rather be in the joint than in her classroom.
So the family's lawyer says, quote, the thing that's beautiful about America is we have freedoms. Students in our schools should feel safe. They should not feel threatened for exercising their constitutional rights. So I guess they're saying that it was her freedom to not have to stop.
Frank,
and
did
do
you
the
ever,
Pledge of
because
Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance always causes
we're
problems.
old school.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, in my junior high, I remember 2 incidents of teachers throwing down with students.
So I remember several. Yeah.
Mr. Hensley got Mike Reese into a headlock because we're standing in the pavilion. It was like raining like it is now. Mike tried to throw his like milk carton into the trash can, which was like in the mud, like at the baseball diamond, like in the, it's like an 8-foot shot, and he missed it, right? And now it's in the mud, but it's pouring rain, and Mr. Hensley, PE teacher, looks at him and he's like, Mike Reese, yeah. pick up that goddamn milk cart and throw it in the thing. And Mike kind of looked at him like, come on, it's under 3 feet of water in the mud. It's raining. He's like, get out of here. Fucking Hensley. Headlock, man, dragging his ass out to the trash can. Headlock.
Could you imagine that now?
What percentage of fights between teachers and students do not make the internet? Because I think it's zero.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Everything.
My
would be
PE
posted.
teacher, who was also my wrestling coach, I mean, he hit me a couple times. He used to carry a wiffle ball bat, and he would pound me with a wiffle ball bat. I'm like fucking. I used to call him by his first name, Pete. I go, Pete, stop. I'm going to tell my father. Go tell your father.
He doesn't know where we are.
Mr. Walters would tell my friend Ray, who was like the class muscle-bound goon, to like do his bidding for him. You know, like he knew he couldn't do anything, but Ray would mop it up. And then they had like a slushy machine in the PE office. But he'd top Ray off with a slushie if he took care of business. Ray would force kids to lay down and up in the weight room on like the second floor of the gym. He would force them to lay down because they didn't want to fight with him. Like they knew they were going to bust it up, just comply. They lay down, take the barbell. It was like 110, 120 pound, the barbell with the full bar, but not the big Olympic weights, the short weights on it. Take it, put over the kid's neck. There was enough to breathe, but you had to kind of turn sideways. Because the bottom of the bar was about 4.5 inches above
it's right here.
the floor, right? On you picture like a 10-pound slab, right? And then that kid would just lay there, and there's nothing he could do because he couldn't pull it over his head. Sometimes they could roll it down their chest. But it took a while.
Could you imagine that now?
Oh, my God.
Couldn't happen.
Nope. Nothing. You can't say anything to. That's why you're right. I would hate to be a school teacher.
I think the teachers are more afraid of the students.
They are, man, and they're more afraid of getting fired. Everything they do and say, it's
keep their job.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it home. I want to thank Jillian Michaels for coming in here and the fitness app. Of course, Frank and Nepo Baby. Remy Grillo.
Nepo Baby.
Resurrection.
I learned something.
Of Charles Manson out as we speak. I'm going to be in Naples off the hook doing comedy 24th, 25th, doing stand-up shows there, and then Turlock, Fresno, Vegas. You just go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. Until next time, Adam Carolla for Jillian Michaels, Frank Grillo, and Remy Nepo Baby Grillo.
Yeah.
And Chris saying mahalo.
Get yourself a copy of Adam's latest book, Everything Reminds Me